Hey everyone, I'm afraid I'm back again. I've had so many DMs and other messages about the last video that I wanted to anticipate and reply to some of them on video so that I could clarify a few points. So number one, what were the toilet rolls for? Really important. That was simply just to divide the food groups up so visually you could keep a check on them. Cookery books. Okay, so I promised you living well forever without a cookery book. Now, I know a lot of people love cookery books. I haven't got a problem with them at all. They're very useful. They're a great resource. For me personally, I do quite a lot of the cooking. They don't help me a lot. They mentally tie me up. They're exhausting to look through to get ideas and then to go down the ingredients list and make sure I've got all that on the shopping. So I'm an instinctive type of cook and I don't expect everybody is. But I think a lot of us have a set amount of food. We could probably all cook for a few days, whether it's for our families or for ourselves, without looking at a cookbook. And my point is if you bring your macros on balance, you can eat the same food from the same shopping. You don't need to change your cupboards at all. You just need to change the proportionality. So if you, for example, have a shepherd's pie, just scrape a bit of the mash off, stick it in the bin. My family cook for me as well, like I'm sure yours do. And if you're taking a plate, we have a lot of chips, believe it or not, but they're good quality organic potatoes done in olive oil. I'll just scrape a few of the chips off and then load up with the chicken that I'm having with it. So I just change the proportions. This is not about having a diet and being super weird. It's just changing the tilt. The other question I've had a lot about is kind of what's wrong with the cereal, what's wrong with toast. There's nothing wrong with all those sorts of things. The problem is we're having way too many of them. And I think, as I alluded to earlier, it's very natural for us to have shredded wheat or porridge for breakfast if we think we're being good, and then we have some toast with it. And then at break mid-morning, I know the kids have like cereal bars and stuff. The main food stuff for lunch is a sandwich or a pita bread or something of the like. The schools feed them pasta. Tea is sometimes another snack in the afternoon. And then finally the meal at night tends to be a very beige carbo heavy meal. So unwittingly, we're all taking a lot of the beige carbo. And I don't want to demonize it. It is a great food stuff. But I'm going to stay with my view that it is sport food. The body loves it and it takes it on fast and it will drive you very well. But it is not doing you any favours. It's unnecessary. And the reason essentially is this, and I'm not a chemist, but if you take these carbos here and look at them along a line, you've got sugar on this side, and you've got kale, cabbage, etc. on this side. And think of them as a continuum. And if I was a chemist, I would be telling you that this white sugar up here and fruit and honey and stuff, the sweeter fruits, they got a very simple molecular structure and they can pour through your body very quickly. They take on energy very fast, like a Mars bar. And what that means is a surge in insulin, which, by the way, is the most powerful hormone in your body. It's not testosterone or estrogen, it's insulin. And this is where obviously diabetes type 2 comes from and insulin resistance, because we're all having this type of food and our insulin's going like this and it starts to accelerate with age. So you may be all right into your 40s, in your 50s eating this way, but it will catch up with most people unless you don't keep it in check. When I say most, obviously some of us are more genetically gifted than others, but it's not worth taking the risk. And as you drive to this side, down this continuum, this molecular structure gets more and more complicated. This is why they call them complex carbs. And these are digested much more slowly. You don't get the sugar rush, and you've got a much more balanced insulin path in the day, which is much, much better for you. You can mix all this up. I am no food fascist. If you look in my cupboards, well, there's not much there actually, but we got ketchup, we got mayonnaise, we've got sugar, We're not food fundamentalists, but we do get this bit right. I won't let the kids go to school on cereal and toast. They now love their fry up. They know it's full of fat and protein and some complex carbs. So there might be some spinach in there. Zoe loves avocados. And that takes them all the way through to lunch, which is fantastic because they don't have that snack bar, which is yet more carbo load. So although I don't want to paint this as evil, it is quite a short way down this spectrum, and it's quite a simple, sugary structure, which as a Western world, I think we've got to get off. It's a drug, and it's quite well known to appeal to our little receptors in our brain, a bit like a mild version of cocaine. Other questions I had, well, oh yeah, this one, whole wheat versus white. Right, okay, fantastic question. We all feel worthy, don't we? In fact, look at this. I've got brown spaghetti, I've got brown rice, and I got brown pittas down there. I hate to drop this to you, it almost makes no difference whatsoever. It'll make us feel good. Most of them are processed anyway, but the brown colour is just making them feel good. If you don't believe me, follow a guy on Instagram called The Fitness Chef. He's amazing. Can't remember his real name now, something like Tomlinson. But he's called The Fitness Chef, and he does some amazing infographics that will back me up, and he will show the difference between white rice, brown rice, white bread. So don't worry about it. It's still not a great foodstuff. Even if you make homemade bread, it's just not good. I can't put it any other way. But it is good athletic food, so it's fine to have it in the house. But I would just try to be careful with it. Last question. But I'm happy with how I am back off. Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I'm doing these talks because I want people to live well forever, right? So I'm going to talk about what living well forever means, but essentially it's sort of living unaided, I guess, and into your 90s. A lot of us are happy with how we are, and that is fabulous. I don't want to change anybody and make them eat what they don't want to eat or do what they don't want to do. But it's advice based on a lot of knowledge. And also, I don't believe a lot of people need to actually lose weight. We're obsessed with weight loss. I think actually a huge majority of us are within a great weight range, but we might not be in the right body composition. So there's a lot of stuff going on. It's not just about calorific balance, which obviously helps with weight gain or loss, but it's bodily proportion as well. And a lot of us might be an ideal weight, but we just need to change our body composition, which getting the macros on trend is a good thing. So lastly, I would like to give an additional resource if anybody wants to read any further. Obviously, I read books, I gather knowledge. I'm not the font of all knowledge. But if you want to read further on this matter, this is an amazing book. Nina Teicholz, The Big Fat Surprise. It is a mega bestseller. She's very clever. I think she was a journalist. If there's one book you read around food, I'd probably recommend that to be it. More intellectual, but on the same subject, Why We Get Fat. Gary Tobes, again, another incredibly respected journalist in the field of food. Worth a read. Much more intense, and he's a bit more radical. And then finally, Dr. David Perlmutter, Grain Brain, which goes, on this. Again, he's a bit of a fundamentalist. I'm not a fundamentalist. I want my toast. I want my rice with my curry. So for me, it's about compromise, but that is definitely worth a read as well. Anyway, I hope that's a help. Please share, like, come back to me, ask me questions, whatever you like, bombard me, say what you will. Thanks for listening, and no doubt I will catch up with you in the next few days. Take care.